Hello everyone and welcome to another video. So today in this video we're taking a look at this Magnetic Aquarium Algae Cleaner or Magnetic Scrubber. So this is a mini version of the scrubber that you've probably seen on the internet. As you can see on the packaging it says mini magnetic brush. I bought this from AliExpress and I paid about $2 for this including shipping. And if you look at the back you can see it can work on glasses thickness of up to 3 to 5 millimeters, and we will see whether I've got a couple of aquariums that are 8 millimeters thick. We will see whether this will work for me or not, and we will see how good it works and how big it is. So without any further delay, let's take it out. So very simple packaging, nothing left to it. Let's keep it aside and take a look at it. So this is how it looks. As you can see, not very big, as this is mini. So there are two surfaces. This is the one that you are going to hold in your hand, and as you can see there are grooves, so it's easier to hold. And on this you can see there is this kind of texture. This is a little hard kind of a texture, like you see when if you've seen like a velcro, one of the velcro side is a little hard brush and other side is like a soft brush. This is the kind of texture this brush has. The magnet is fairly strong, but I think it could have been a little stronger. Now let's measure the size of this. So I've got a measuring scale here. So you can see the diameter of this is a little about 1.5 inch diameter, and the thickness of this is about 1 inch. So very compact, very small, not going to work for big aquariums. Obviously bigger aquariums will be built with much bigger, much thicker glass, and it is only given to work with 3 to 5 mm glass. So without any further delay, let's just take a look at how it works and whether it cleans the algae in my tank or not. Obviously it will not be able to clean the mineral deposits. Mineral deposits are very difficult to clean. You require a metal blade to clean them, but this is just for algae cleaner, and we'll see how it works. Alright guys, so here is our tank on which we are going to be testing our small mini magnetic cleaner. Unfortunately, the magnetic cleaner that we've bought is only capable or only rated for about 5 millimeter glass. The thickness of my glass is about 8 millimeter. So if this small magnetic cleaner performs any better on this thicker glass, it will definitely perform much better on a 5 millimeter glass without any problem. So as you can see, there is a lot of algae on this tank, and there's a lot of mineral deposit on top of the glass. We will see whether it is able to clear that up or not. So let's start with putting this inside our tank. So here is our magnetic cleaner. There is two ends. One is a bigger end which goes outside the tank, and the idea is that the soft surface cleans your tank from the outside, while the hard surface cleans the tank from the inside. So as you can see, it will click together and it's not going anywhere. So let's see how it does in my 8 millimeter glass, and if it does well on this 8 millimeter glass, it will definitely do much better on a 5 to 6 millimeter glass, which is what it's rated for, and it's definitely very good for very small tanks such as a betta fish tank. So there is two things that we are going to be testing: whether it is capable of removing the water stains, or we call mineral deposit, or the hard water stains, and then we will test whether it is capable of removing the algae inside this tank or not. So I'm going to divide this tank into two parts. So let's bring in our magnetic cleaner. I will start with the algae first, and this is going to be my first pass, so you will see whether does it make any difference or not. So I'm just going to go from the top to the bottom. Let's see what it does in a single pass in one stroke. So going from top to bottom, and as you can see there's a clear mark that it is making inside the tank. So first impression, very good. I didn't have to wet my hands to clean the algae inside my tank, and as you can see both my filters, there is a small hang on the back filter running, and there is a small sponge filter running, dual sponge filter running at the same time. So hopefully all the algae that I'm dislodging inside my tank will be absorbed by both the filters. So I'm not going to be cleaning the right side of the tank, I will just cleaning the left side of the tanks, and that should give us an idea what difference it makes on our tank. So let me just start from the bottom. So as you can see, despite being a thicker glass and this being a very small magnetic cleaner, it is doing a fairly good job. and I'm not even having to wet my hands inside my tank. So if I was eating something, I could literally eat anything without having to wash my hand. So that's one plus with this magnetic cleaner, and I will show you how versatile these cleaners are. You don't just have to use them for cleaning, you can do a lot more than just cleaning with these types of magnetic cleaners. So as you can see, within just a couple of passes, it's already making a difference. Previously, look, we're not even able to see the filter inside the tank. Nothing is visible inside the tank. On this side, you can clearly see some of the Corridoras that are swimming in the tank. So first impression, really good. So let me just do this really quickly and see how it looks after cleaning. Alright guys, so as you can see, just within a couple of passes, and you can see it is already making a lot of difference. So this is the unclean part, clearly visible. You're not able to see anything inside the tank. This is the clean part, and you can still go a couple of passes more to make it a little more cleaner. And this is with a magnetic cleaner which is not rated for 8mm thickness glass. So if you are using this on a small tanks, let's say 5 or 6mm glass, it will do a much better job. So I will definitely buy another one, and I will also buy a bigger one for my 8mm glass, and that will work much better on this tank. So now let's move on to the scale here. As you can see, this is the mineral deposit. I'm not sure if you're able to see or not. Let me see if you're able to see on this side or not. So you can clearly see that this is mineral deposit. If you live in an area where there is the minerals are very high in water, this is the problem that you will face. So let's see whether it is able to get rid of the mineral deposit or not. So as you can see on top of here, it looks very blurry, and that's because of the mineral deposits. So let me bring in the cleaner and let's see if it is able to clean this or not. So as you can see, it is making a little bit of difference, but it will not be able to get everything out of the tank. So let me show you on the other side, because it is not visible on this side properly. Alright, so as you can see from this angle, you can see that the whiteness, that creaminess on top of the glass, it's because of the mineral deposit. So let's see if it is able to get this white part out or not. So I'm going to go with a couple of passes, and comparing to the algae that we've just cleaned, it is a little bit harder. So definitely not good for cleaning water stains. But if I had a little bigger one, a little stronger magnet, which is rated for 8mm or higher, then it should have done a better job. But still, I'm not that disappointed. In fact, I'm very impressed. So if you're doing this every day, you will not even get this amount of mineral deposit in your tank. All you have to do is just wake up in the morning. Now all you have to do is just move it a little bit on top of where the water line is. And if you do this every day, you will not get this mineral deposit at all. And you can see that even this smaller one, which is not rated for 8mm glass, when it is doing a little better job. So definitely a thumbs up. Now let us move on to the other side and see what happens, how we are going to go from this side to the other side. As you can see, I just mentioned in the beginning that this is the cheapest magnetic cleaner that you can buy in the market, and that's why it doesn't float in the tank. So if you lose the inner part, it will go inside the tank and you will have to fetch that with your hand or something else. So let's see whether it is able to move from one side of the glass to the other. So I'm just going to go this way. Let me show you another angle. Yes, so I'm going from here. So it is able to catch while switching from this side to the other side. So you're able to do the cleaning on all the sides, but you will have to be a little careful because the magnets are not that strong on this 8mm glass. On a 6 or 5mm glass, it will definitely catch up much more aggressively. So as you can see, I've also cleaned this half of the tank, and the difference is clearly visible. And on this side, you can clearly see the water stains here visible. I just cleaned this up with the magnetic cleaner. Let me do this part as well and see whether it is able to do that or not. So it is getting somewhat, but not as effective as a proper. So it is working a little bit, but not as effective on the water stains as it is on the algae comparatively. But if you're doing this every day, every day you wake up and you reach your water line and you give it a couple of passes every morning, this will not happen. So let me show you a little close up of how it cleans the algae. And make sure when you're cleaning this, you have all the filters in your tank running, because they will be able to absorb a lot of the algae that is floating inside your tank, and cleaning the filter will be a little easier than cleaning the water or doing a huge water change. So for cleaning a tank, this is definitely a thumbs up. You didn't have to put your hand inside the tank. You didn't have to wet your hands. If you're eating something, you could have eaten that without any problem, without having to put your hands inside the tank. So it's a very clean setup. Everybody should have one of these. So let me show you how this is much more versatile than just for cleaning your tank. So the other way I use these magnetic cleaner is that I use them to attach small pots in my tank. So I bought these small pots. You can buy a bigger one of these, and I made a couple of holes in there. So I use this magnetic cleaner to attach these pots inside my tank. So you've probably seen this in my previous videos, but what I do is I completely submerged a pot like this inside my tank, and as you can see, it will sink. To prevent this from sinking, I will use this magnetic cleaner. So let me just attach one and show you what you can do with these. So what you do is you basically take the part that goes inside the tank, you put this inside the pot, and then you attach it from the outside, the glass, and the magnetic power of the magnetic cleaner holds the pot in place. Now, how will you use this setup? It is very simple. Let's say you bought a new plant. Maybe you bought a little bit of Java moss, but you don't want your Java moss to keep floating inside your tank. It will be lost within no time. So what you do is you take a piece of Java moss, you put this inside the pot, and it will be there. It will not go around inside your tank, and you will be able to find this without any problem. Let's say you are trying to grow some plant. You can grow that plant in this pot, and it will be separated from other plants. So whenever you want to take that plant out of the tank, it will be much easier to do that. The other best use case of doing this is that let's say you have a sick fish. So what had happened was that I bought a couple of danios from a store, and one of the fish was not doing very well. All the stronger fish were bothering the weaker fish. So what I did was I took the main fish out, and because I didn't had any other separate tank to put the weak fish in, I decided to do this. So this way I was able to separate the weak fish from all the other fish, and I didn't have to set up another tank. The water changes were much easier because there was no other tank to be cleaned. So I was very easily able to separate the weak fish, and I was systematically focus feed that weak fish for a couple of days until the weaker fish got its strength back, and it jumped out of the bowl, jumped out of the pot on its own. I didn't even have to take the fish out of the pot. You can also do this with betta fish. You can buy a little bigger pot, and if you don't want to set up a separate tank for a betta fish, which can be a little time consuming and much difficult to clean, if you put a betta fish in a small container like this that I have done here, it will be much easier to clean the main tank. And because the water is circulating, because I drilled some hole in the pot, this small pot is basically part of this bigger tank. So your betta fish will be much happier living in this huge volume of water. As you can see from bottom to the top, this pot is sharing the water from the main tank, and because the filtration is happening in the main tank, the water in the pot is very calm. So betta fish will not get agitated, and betta fish will feel much calmer in this steady slow water inside the pot. And outside you can put any stronger filtration without having to worry about the betta fish not being able to swim. So these pots and this magnetic cleaners are very, very handy, and that's why I'm planning to buy a couple more. I will buy some stronger ones as well. And you can also keep some fish fry in this small pot. So if let's say your fish spawns in the main tank and you are able to save some of the fry, you can put the fry in the pot. You can put the fry in this small pot without having to set up a completely separate tank. So this saves you a lot of time as well as resources. So very handy, very useful magnetic cleaners. So there we go. This was my video on this small mini magnetic cleaner, one of the cheapest magnetic cleaner that you can buy in the market. Very good for cleaning a small fish tank such as betta fish tank. These are available in two types. Other one is the floating type, which floats on top of the water. This one is the cheapest one, so it doesn't float on top of the water. So if you lose the connection between the two, this end will sink to the bottom, and you will have to use your hand to retrieve this one. Very handy, very versatile. You can do a lot more than just clean your tank. So I think every fish keeper should have a couple of these at hand. And that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you find this video helpful. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.